2 years without her eyes opening. And the most powerful man in 3 states could do nothing about it. Grandpa Walt Calloway owned half the buildings downtown. Men shook when he walked into a room. But none of that mattered inside room 412, where his granddaughter Peyton lay still as stone. "Doctor, tell me the truth. Is she getting better?" The doctor looked at his shoes. "Sir, we've tried everything. Her body is alive. Her mind isn't answering back. The chance she wakes up now is very small." Nurses came and went like clockwork. Doctors checked her numbers every week and gave him the same report wrapped in different words. No change. No change. No change. Walt had trained Peyton with his own hands. Taught her how to read a room, how to close a deal, how to lead 100 people into a boardroom and walk out with everything she wanted. She was supposed to run everything he'd built. Now she couldn't even blink on command. He had companies. He had men who flinched when his name came up in conversation. None of it could open his granddaughter's eyes. "Mr. Dew," he said, not turning around. "Sir, bring me the old file. The one from the night she was born." "Sir, are you sure? You never believed in that stuff." "I don't have anything left to believe in." Inside the file was a single yellowed page. A warning, written by a woman long dead, the ink gone brown with age. "This child will face a danger that steals her life before it's finished. Only a man born on this exact date can pull her back." "Are you sure, sir?" his assistant asked. "You never believed in this kind of thing. You always said you were a businessman, not a man who chases every superstition that walks through the door." "I'm not a businessman anymore," Walt said. "I'm an old man with a granddaughter who won't wake up. Money failed. Pride failed. Every doctor in this state has failed. I have exactly one thing left to try, and it's sitting in my hand written by a dead woman." He had kept that page for 18 years and never once looked at it twice. Now it was the only card left to play. "Find the man with this birth date," Walt said. "Fast, before I run out of reasons to hope." The search took 3 days. It ended at the Voss family's front door. Their son, Bryce Voss, was born on the exact date on the page. Cheryl Voss nearly dropped her coffee cup. "The Calloways want Bryce to marry the granddaughter?" "Which one?" Bryce asked, already annoyed. "Peyton, the one in the coma." Bryce laughed, short and ugly. "No, absolutely not. I'm not marrying a girl who can't even open her eyes. What am I supposed to tell people? That my wife is a vegetable?" "Lower your voice," his father snapped. "Why should I? You want me to become a joke at every party I go to for the rest of my life. If we say no to Walt Calloway, we lose everything. Every deal, every contract, everything this family built. Then tell them I'm sick. Tell them I'm out of the country. I don't care what you say. I'm not doing it." Silence. Then Cheryl's voice, quiet and careful. "There's another way." "What way?" "Dallas." Bryce blinked. "The maid's kid?" "Mom, that's insane. He was born the same morning as you." "I remember it. The whole staff was talking about it that week. The Calloways want a birth date. They don't know your face. They've never met you. If they find out we sent the maid's son instead of our own, who's going to tell them?" "You won't. I won't. His mother won't. Not if she wants to keep her job and her health." Cheryl's smile went cold. "The 7th son marries the sleeping girl for us. And when the Calloways hand us that construction contract, we collect it like it was always ours." Denise Reyes had scrubbed the Voss family's floors for 11 years. Her son Dallas had grown up in their guest house, eating what was left over, sleeping in the smallest room. "Dallas, sit down," Gary Voss said. "We've found you a marriage." Dallas almost laughed. "A marriage? Me? Into the Calloway family. Why me?" "Because you were born the same day as Bryce." Dallas's stomach dropped. "You want me to use his name? Lie to a whole family? I can't build a marriage on someone else's identity." "You will," Cheryl said, stepping closer. "Do you understand what we've given you and your mother? A roof, food, a place to sleep when you had nowhere else. My mother earned every bit of that with her back and her hands." "Watch your tone." Cheryl's voice dropped, sharper now. "If you refuse, your mother is out of this house today. You know her heart isn't strong. You know what that kind of shock could do to her." Dallas looked at his mother's face, tired, scared, silent, 30 feet away in the kitchen doorway. "If you agree," Cheryl said, "she stays. She eats. She rests. Simple." Dallas's jaw locked. "I'll do it. Good boy." Later, in the small room behind the kitchen, his mother held his hand and cried without making a sound. "They're sending you into danger because of me," she whispered. I'll be fine, Mom. You don't know rich people like I do. They use a person and throw them away when they're done. I agreed because I need you safe. That's all this is. I won't lose myself in that house. I know how to survive. That's what scares me, she said. You've survived too much already. Grandpa Walt met him at the front gate himself. So you're Bryce. Good afternoon, sir. The name felt like a stone in Dallas's mouth. Come, let me take you to her. The room was quiet except for a machine beeping in slow, even pulses. Peyton lay motionless, her hair spread across the pillow, a face frozen in time. Nobody told me she was like this, Dallas said before he could stop himself. What did they tell you? Nothing clear. She's been this way 2 years. At least she won't argue with you for showing up late. Walt handed him an envelope. Your monthly allowance. There's a car outside. Pick whichever one you want. Sir, this is too much. You're her husband now. Nobody in this house is going to look at you like you don't belong. That night, Dallas sat in a chair beside the bed instead of the bed itself. This life is strange, he said to no one, to the silent girl in the sheets. I walked in here wearing another man's name, and they're treating me like I actually matter. Bryce called 2 weeks later, his voice syrup-sweet with menace. So you can talk to me like that now that you're wearing nice clothes? What do you want? My father wants an update on the project, the one the Callaways promised us. I agreed to marry her. I never agreed to steal a contract for your family. Steal? You've grown wings fast for a maid's son. I've repaid whatever debt your family thinks it's owed. Don't call me again. Careful, Bryce hissed. One mistake, and that woman who raised you is going to regret every year she spent under our roof. Don't touch my mother. Then do the job you were sent to do. That's the only reason you're in that house at all. Don't get confused about your place. My place is a lot cleaner than yours right now. Watch it, Bryce snapped. One phone call, and you're back scrubbing floors with your mother by morning. I won't. A pause. Then, quieter, meaner. Is that why Brianna left you? Because you never had the spine to hold on to anything good. Dallas hung up. Weeks passed. Walt called him into the study. The company needs a new marketing director, or a sales director. Or, if you want something bigger, I could put you at the head of one of our major branches. Dallas sat very still. Sir, Peyton was the one you trained for this. Not me. She's still asleep. I'm old. I need someone I can trust standing next to me. I can't take any of those, Grandpa. The word slipped out on its own now. If you put a crown that heavy on my head today, it'll crush me before I've earned it. Let me start at the bottom. Let me learn beside people, not above them. Walt studied him for a long moment. You're not greedy. I just know my size. A man who knows his size can grow into something bigger, Walt said quietly. A man who lies about his size falls apart the first time weight is put on him. Fine. You start small, but I'll be watching. It happened on an ordinary Tuesday. No warning, no build-up. The sheets were warm. The bed was empty. Did she fall? Did somebody carry her out? A nurse shouted, running down the hallway. Dallas turned the corner and stopped cold. Peyton was standing. Thin, pale, furious, and standing. I was in a coma, she said, voice cracked from disuse. Not dead. Stop staring. Sorry. Who are you? I'm your husband. Her eyes narrowed. You sound like a man who was waiting for his wife to die. That's not true. I heard you. Out there, asking if I disappeared. That was relief in your voice, not fear. That was panic. I woke up to an empty bed after 2 years of nothing changing. My body might be weak, Peyton said, sitting slowly, but my ears work fine. Don't lie to me. Please, sit down before you fall. Don't touch me. At least we understand each other. Walt cried when he saw her standing in the hallway. He hadn't cried at either of his own parents' funerals. He cried now. You came back to me, he said. I heard your voice the whole time, Grandpa. Every single day. That night, Walt ordered a full dinner spread, the kind the house hadn't seen in 2 years. Tonight this house is alive again, he said, beaming at Dallas. You walked in, and she woke up. Grandpa, I'm not the son you think I. Eat, Walt said, cutting him off, too happy to notice the crack in Dallas's voice. Peyton reached over and put food on Dallas's plate without asking. You're already getting along, Walt said, delighted. Dallas said nothing. His stomach was in knots. Late that night, Peyton found him at a small desk, hunched over a sketch pad, hiding it the second she walked in. What is that? Nothing. Bring it here. He handed it over slowly. Building designs. Bridges. Curved rooflines. Detailed, careful, obsessive work, the kind that took years to get that good at. You studied business, she said. Why are you drawing like an architect? Personal interest. You expect me to believe that. Her eyes locked onto his. You're hiding something. I can feel it. You need rest. I rested for 2 years. Don't tell me to rest. She stood in the doorway a moment longer. I'm going to find out everything about you, Bryce. Everything. She kept her word. She hired someone quietly, a woman who specialized in finding things people wanted buried. School records, birth records, family photos, friends' names. 3 days later, a folder landed on Peyton's desk. She opened it and went still. The boy in the baby photos wasn't the boy sleeping in her house. Kelly Chino? Dallas, she read aloud, testing the name like a foreign object in her mouth. Dallas Reyes. We need to talk, she said, finding him in the garden. Don't call me by that fake name again. Follow me. His stomach dropped the second he saw her face. She knew. Adana. Peyton, he corrected himself. I can explain. Everything was a lie, she said, and laughed, a small, broken sound. You walked into my family with a dead man's identity that wasn't even his. You married me while I couldn't say a single word to stop it. You sat across from my grandfather. You let him love you. I never wanted to hurt him. Then why are you here? Because I was forced. The words came out fast now, like a dam breaking. The marriage was meant for Bryce Voss. He refused when he found out you were in a coma. His mother remembered I was born the same day. They threatened my mother. She's their maid. Peyton, she has nowhere else to go and a heart that can't survive that kind of stress. I had no power to say no. And you just agreed. I know I deceived you. I know I deceived your grandfather. I won't defend it. If you want this marriage over, I'll sign whatever you put in front of me. You want a divorce? I want you to actually have a choice this time. They stood in front of Walt together. Dallas told him everything. The fake name, the threats, his mother, all of it, waiting for the floor to open beneath him. Walt was quiet for a long time. Did you come here to steal from me? No, sir. Did you come to hurt my granddaughter? Never. Were you forced into this? Yes, sir. Then the Voss family are the ones who should be ashamed. Walt's voice hardened. Years ago, someone told me a man born on a certain date would pull Peyton back from the edge. I assumed that meant Bryce. But Bryce never set foot in this house. You did. You slept in a chair instead of a bed. You turned down positions I offered you on a silver plate because you said you hadn't earned them. She woke up because you were here. Maybe that warning was never about him at all. That doesn't prove anything, Peyton said, arms crossed, eyes wet. Maybe not. But I've buried enough people in my life to know the difference between a man who came here to take something and a man who came here carrying someone else's mistake on his back because he had no other choice. Maybe not, Walt said gently. But I've lived long enough to know some things don't happen by accident. No one is talking about divorce in this house again. Not today. He turned to Dallas. From this moment forward, no more lies. Yes, sir. Peyton walked out without another word. She hadn't forgiven him. Not yet. An invitation arrived a week later. A design and construction summit. The kind of room where careers were made or buried in a single night. You'll both represent the family, Walt said. Grandpa, I just woke up. I shouldn't be. The whole city already knows you're awake. I'd rather they see you standing strong than whisper about you behind closed doors. You'll go with Dallas. I'll go if you want me to, Peyton said, not looking at Dallas once. But you don't get to speak unless I say so. As you wish. The summit room glittered with money and people who smelled it on each other. Waiters slid between clusters of investors with trays of champagne. Nobody was really drinking. Peyton stayed close to Dallas's side, her hand light on his arm, her spine straight as a blade. Remember, she murmured. Let me speak first if anyone asks questions. As you wish. Then Bryce Voss appeared at the far end, dressed sharper than Dallas had ever seen him, smirking like he owned the floor. Well, look who's playing dress up, Bryce said, loud enough for a circle of guests to turn. Shouldn't you be at home, wiping your sleeping wife's mouth? Watch how you speak to him, Peyton warned. You can put him in the finest suit in the building, Bryce said, ignoring her completely. But he's still the maid's son. Grew up eating our leftovers. If I tell him to sit, he sits. A woman stepped up beside Bryce, sharp heels, sharper smile. Brianna. Dallas, she said, tilting her head like she was inspecting furniture. I didn't realize things had gotten this bad for you. Married into a family, and the bride's asleep. That's really where your ambition landed you. I used to think you just lacked ambition, Bryce added, laughing. Turns out you just needed a rich family's leftovers to feel important. You picked money over me, Dallas said, eyes on Brianna, voice flat and even. You made that choice standing right in front of me. Don't act surprised at where I ended up. You never once asked. You made your choice a long time ago, he added, turning to leave. Stay with it. Security, Bryce called out, snapping his fingers like Dallas was a stray dog. This one snuck in without an invitation. I have one, Dallas said, holding up the card. Fake, probably. Poor people always find a way to sneak into rooms they don't belong in. The guards started moving toward him. Dallas didn't fight it. He'd learned a long time ago that fighting people like Bryce only gave them a better story to tell later. Peyton didn't move for a second. Then she stepped in front of the guards. Call Mr. Dresden. Now. Mr. Dresden, the head of the whole summit, arrived within a minute, confusion turning to alarm the second he saw Peyton's face. This man, Peyton said, pointing at Bryce, just insulted me and tried to have my husband thrown out in front of 200 people. You insulted her? Dresden asked, going pale. Sir, I thought. You thought what? That she didn't deserve respect because she'd been sick? Dresden's voice went cold as steel. Your invitation only existed because your father begged for it. That was a mistake. As of this second, the Voss family is blacklisted from every project under this association. Escort him out. Wait. Please, my father will destroy me if this gets out. You should have thought of that before you opened your mouth. Bryce's eyes locked on Dallas as the guards dragged him toward the doors. This isn't over. I will deal with you. Dallas said nothing. He'd expected Bryce to enjoy this moment. Instead, quietly, he stepped forward. Let him leave with some dignity. That's enough. Peyton looked at him like she was seeing something new. Later that night, back home, the house was silent. Dallas sat alone in the garden, sketchbook closed on his lap, saying nothing to anyone. His mother called. He almost didn't answer. You saved him, she said softly, once he told her everything. Even after everything he did to you. I didn't do it for him. I know, she whispered. You did it because that's who I raised. Neither of them said anything else. The silence said enough. Peyton found him there an hour later, still in the same clothes, still sitting in the dark. You could have let them drag him out screaming, she said. After everything he did to you tonight, you've earned worse than that. That's not who I want to be, not even for someone like him. She sat down beside him, closer than she'd sat since the day she woke up. For a long moment, neither of them said anything. The garden was quiet except for the wind moving through the trees Walt had planted before either of them was born. Why does your silence bother me more than his shouting ever did? She finally asked, mostly to herself. Dallas didn't answer that one. He didn't think there was a safe answer to give her. I had someone trace the design in your sketchbook back to its source today, she said instead. Before the summit. Before any of this. Dallas's whole body went still. I want the name, she said quietly. Today. No more waiting for you to decide when I get to know things about my own husband. He looked at her, and for the first time since the wedding, he didn't look away. It's mine, he said. Every drawing. Every line. I've been designing buildings in secret since I was 14, sketching them on the backs of receipts in a house that never once asked what I wanted to be. That's the only thing in this entire lie that was ever completely true. She didn't answer right away. Somewhere behind her eyes, something shifted. Not forgiveness, not yet, but the first real crack in a wall that had been built 2 years before either of them ever met. Back when a dying woman's handwriting decided both their lives without asking permission from either one of them. You wanted to be, she started, then stopped herself, the sentence hanging unfinished in the dark between them. She never finished it. She didn't need to. They both already knew the version of him she'd almost fallen for was standing right in front of her, and the version she'd been told to hate had never existed at all.